Welcome to Sportpen. Today we're doing a deep dive into a story that's, well, more than just winning. It's about Spain's 2010 World Cup journey, how they became legends.
Yeah, it's a fascinating one. Not straightforward at all.
Exactly. We're going to unpack how this team, with its unique style, faced some serious, unexpected hurdles and still came out on top. We'll look at the key moments, the sheer grit it took, those performances that just changed everything.
It's sort of a shortcut, really, for you to understand what made that run so iconic, what defines greatness in sport.
But it definitely didn't start great, did it? That path wasn't smooth.
Not at all. Everyone thought Spain would, walk it early on. Heavy favorites.
And then bang, that opening loss to Switzerland, 1-0.
Yeah, a huge shock. It immediately put them in this sudden death situation. Every single game became a must-win.
You can only imagine the pressure. Suddenly all those expectations, the weight of the nation.
It was palpable. You could feel it. Players talked about it later. Casillas, the captain.
Iker Casillas, yeah.
Yeah. He said before the Honduras game, he'd never, ever been more nervous.
Wow.
And David Villa, same thing before the Chile match. The most nervous he'd felt in a Spain shirt.
And the media back home, they weren't exactly helping, were they?
No way. The headlines were brutal after Switzerland. The same Spain as always. That old fear kicking in, that they'd stumble again on the big stage.
So navigating that group stage became this immense test of nerve.
Absolutely. They had to grind out results. It wasn't always the beautiful football people expected.
Right, like the Honduras game, won 2-0, but really.
Should have been way more, yeah. Like 6-0 based on chances.
Torres missed some sitters, Villa hit the bar, Ramos had a penalty shout waved off.
But you still saw flashes. Yves Navas, his speed caused them problems down the wing.
Even in that win, though, you could still see the nerves, couldn't you?
Totally. Casillas had a couple of shaky moments, rushed out once, had to make a block just before Villa scored the first.
I heard he had this little ritual, touching the crossbar.
Yeah, he did it right after that goal. You could just see the relief wash over him. A way to ground himself, maybe.
Getting past Chile in the final group game was another tight one. A draw might not have even been enough.
It was tense, but they got through. And then the knockouts, no let up.
Portugal in the round of 16, a very different kind of challenge.
Yeah, Portugal didn't try to play Spain at their own game. They sat back, defended deep. Pepe was playing almost like a shield in front of the defense.
Trying to clog up those spaces where Spain loved to play those little passes.
Exactly. Disrupt the tiki-taka.
But even then, Spain had those moments of quality. I remember Iniesta slipping that ball through to Xavi near the box.
Tiny gaps, but they could find them. That's what made them dangerous.
Beating Portugal was huge. Then the quarterfinal against Paraguay.
And winning that one, that was actual history being made.
First time ever in a World Cup semifinal for Spain.
Now, their previous best was way back in 1950, finishing fourth. So this was massive, breaking that barrier.
Yeah. And maybe breaking that barrier did something. Because the semifinal against Germany. Wow.
Yeah, many people say that was their best performance of the whole tournament. Just peak Spain.
Why do you think that was? Less pressure, maybe?
Could be. Like, they'd already achieved something historic just by getting there. Maybe that freed them up to just play.
Whatever it was, Xavi was just untouchable that night.
Phenomenal. Created 7 chances himself. Germany, the whole team, only managed 3.
And his passing.
Yeah.
Like 105 completed passes or something. Insane accuracy.
He ran the show. Completely dictated the game.
There's that great story about the goal, too, isn't there? Puyol's goal.
Oh, yeah, the corner. Apparently at halftime, Puyol told Xavi, try that corner we do at the club. That floated one to the penalty spot.
And that's exactly how it played out.
Bang! Header. Goal. Shows that connection, that intelligence they had, even on set pieces.
That Germany game was kind of the ultimate expression of their whole philosophy, wasn't it? The famous tiki-taka.
Definitely. And when you look at the final against the Netherlands, it was really framed as this clash of styles. A philosophical battle, almost.
Creation versus destruction. Attack versus defense.
Yeah, that kind of thing. Spain's patient possession against the Dutch counterattack.
I remember Arjen Robben saying something beforehand, like he'd rather win ugly than lose beautifully.
Exactly. That perfectly sums up the contrast. Spain were all in on their way of playing.
It's interesting. Some analyses looked at it like a network. Right, the passes between players.
Yeah, network analysis. Spain had a really high clustering coefficient, which basically means lots of short, intricate passes between nearby players, those little triangles.
And when opponents managed to break that up, those network stats would drop.
Precisely. It showed how vital that constant connection was.
People called it baroques, all those short passes, sometimes over tiny distances. They had 87% pass completion, tournament high.
But the key insight maybe is that it wasn't just pretty patterns. It was fundamentally a defensive strategy.
Right. Keep the ball, the other team can't score. Simple, but effective.
It starved opponents of possession, limited their chances, controlled the game's rhythm. That was crucial.
Even when they weren't playing their absolute best, that style was still there.
Yeah, the imprint was always there, maybe less intense after scoring or in the final, which was so emotional, but the core idea didn't change.
And it wasn't just passing anywhere, right? It was focused.
Exactly. Those quick touches, the triangles, they happened when players had support near the wings, near the box.
Yeah.
Places where they could actually hurt the opponent, not just sterile possession at the back.
And making this all work were some incredible players.
Yeah.
That Barcelona midfield trio especially.
Oh yeah, Xavi, Iniesta, and Sergio Busquets, the engine room.
Busquets is such an interesting one, that famous quote about him.
Watch the game, you don't see Busquets. Watch Busquets, you see the whole game. Perfect.
Because his work rate, his interceptions, it was immense, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Team high, 27 interceptions, great tackle rate, over 60%. He barely ever lost the ball, only dispossessed 3 times in the whole tournament.
Incredible. So vital for starting their attacks.
Foundational. Then you had Xavi, the heartbeat.
He wasn't just a passer. He was like the guardian of their style, wasn't he?
Totally. A real believer. World Soccer Player of the Year in 2010. And Del Bosque, the manager, said when Xavi retired from Spain,
What did he say?
he called Xavi more important to us than even the manager. High praise.
And then Iniesta, the man for the biggest moment.
He kind of embodied that whole Spanish philosophy, didn't he? Skill, intelligence, vision over just physicality, the subtle touch that could unlock everything.
Which brings us inevitably to the final against the Netherlands.
What a match. So physical, so draining, just pure tension.
An emotional roller coaster, full of these huge moments.
Casillas' save against Robin has to be up there, one-on-one.
Incredible. Just stuck out a leg. Pure reflex. Unbelievable.
And then the other big talking point, the De Jong tackle on Xabi Alonso.
Oof. The kung fu kick. Still looks brutal.
Yeah. Howard Webb, the ref, leader said he maybe should have given a straight red. Regretted it a bit.
But then finally the breakthrough. Deep into extra time.
116th minute. Andres Iniesta.
The finish, the celebration, taking off the shirt. The tribute to Dani Jarque.
Such a powerful, emotional moment. Bigger than football, really.
That final still gets debated, though, doesn't it? How Spain actually played.
Yeah, some felt Spain were maybe a bit fortunate on the day, that it wasn't their usual total dominance.
But others would say the Dutch were lucky not to have more players sent off.
Right. And maybe that Dutch team, while organized, wasn't quite as stacked with individual talent as past ones. It's perspective, isn't it?
Regardless, the win itself was massive. Spain's first ever World Cup.
It cemented that era of dominance. Euros in 08, World Cup in 10, Euros again in 12. Unprecedented.
And their success definitely had a wider impact, the Spanish effect on football globally.
Yeah, that focus on technical skill, intelligence. La Masia, their youth academy, became the model. Coaches like Aragonés, Del Bosque, then Guardiola at Barça, they influenced tactics everywhere. Ball control, positional play.
But the weird thing, the paradox, is how few goals they scored.
Right. Only 8 goals in 7 games. Really low for a World Cup winner. Underperformed their expected goals, too.
Yet, they dominated possession. They had loads of touches in the opposition box. Third highest since '66, apparently.
It really makes you question what domination means in football, doesn't it?
Yeah. You don't have to blow teams away with goals to control a game, clearly. Their control came from denying the ball, probing constantly.
Which is why some people debate if they're the best national team ever. The low goal count is the main counter-argument. Reliance on control over firepower, maybe a bit of luck needed along the way.
It wasn't just tactics, though. The psychology must have been huge.
Oh, definitely. Leadership from Casillas, Ramos, that absolute self-belief in their style, even after the Switzerland loss. Communication, all vital under that kind of pressure.
And that final point, did it actually unite Spain, given the complex regional politics?
That's a tricky one. Sources suggest mixed feelings. Views on Catalan versus Spanish identity didn't just disappear.
Right.
But there was also this undeniable sense of collective joy. People celebrating together, regardless of background. For a moment, at least, football created this shared happiness that maybe transcended the politics. That's powerful.
So when you boil it down, Spain's 2010 win was, Well, it was a story of overcoming that terrible start, sticking to a really unique, almost philosophical style focused on defensive control through possession.
Powered by brilliant players perfectly suited to that system and navigating these incredibly tight, low-scoring games.
They really did challenge how we think about winning the World Cup.
Yeah.
You don't always need a flood of goals.
Their control, even with few goals, was undeniable. A different kind of dominance.
So, for you listening, in a sport often defined by goals and individual heroics, Spain's 2010 World Cup win, marked by defensive possession and a low goal tally, but undeniable control, challenged conventional ideas of how to dominate and win at the highest level. What does their journey tell us about the diverse ways greatness can be achieved in sports?
Something to think about for sure.
Thanks for listening to Sportpen.